All right. We'll give everybody another minute or two to jump in. So let's go around the horn here. I know where a couple folks are, but I want to find out where everybody else is. So feel free to start with Lewis. Where are you located?
I'm in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Excellent. Brian Pinso. I know where you're at, but tell everybody else.
I'm from Houston, Texas.
Awesome. All right. Well, Sharon, we have you today. There should be a button on here to unmute. So hit the unmute button there, Sharon, if you see it. If you find it. If you can't, no worries at all. Stan the Man, where are you at these days?
Hello, Mr. Salge. I am currently in Braintree, Mass.
Excellent. Good to see you, sir. Mr. Trott, it's been a while. How are you, sir?
Good evening, Mr. Salge. I'm doing well. Reaching out
Excellent.
to you from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Excellent. Love it. All right. Miss Melissa, how about yourself? Oh, we got her muted. Can't hear her. Hit that unmute button if you see it, Melissa. There you go.
Okay, how about now?
Now I got you.
I'm from East Texas, Lufkin, Texas.
Lufkin, excellent. I hear that you met Dave at a wedding.
That's exactly right.
That's how this business is done. You just find the people that you meet while you're going out doing stuff. That's pretty cool. I love that story. Good to see you in person.
Thank you, too.
Mr. Stallard, you're next up on my screen. Where are you located, sir?
I am from Granbury, Texas.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Next on my screen is Miss Rico. Where are you located?
I am from Chicago.
Excellent. I love it. Mr. Daniel, you're next up on the screen. Let everybody know where you're from.
Tascasita, Texas, just down the road from you, buddy.
Excellent. Miss Swim, I'm glad you're here. If you're available to chat, let everybody know where you're from.
Houston, Texas.
Downtown. Good to see you on. Mr. McCormick, where are you located?
So worst I see it. Firstly, I'm going to college.
Miss Lizzie, welcome to the call. I think you're
Hi,
right
my
next door to
dear.
Miss Carrie. Are you in Houston right now?
I sure am.
Excellent. Good to see you. Miss Erica, where are you located?
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, no.
Hey, Mr. Salge, can you see if you can make me a co-host so I can mute everybody out for you?
Sure. Appreciate it. Looks like I can only make you host. I don't see a co-host option.
Just make sure before you get the training started that you mute everybody out and you lock it.
I sure will. Thank you for that. Appreciate the reminder. All right, we're a couple minutes in. It was good hearing where everybody was at, but we're at time, so I'm gonna go ahead and get us kicked off. So we're recording. Let me hit the mute button, and then if you, I might call on some folks throughout, so we'll see how that goes. But for now, I'm gonna mute everyone, and y'all can unmute yourself. So if I see somebody in there that get loud, I'll just mute them out. But welcome everybody. Appreciate you all being on. Super excited to get Power Hour kicked off, and really excited to see everybody on here tonight. This is going to become a constant that we have in our business for our team. Anyone is welcome to this. This is for the Team Mesa team and all of its offshoots that are building and growing underneath of us, or we're growing so rapidly that we wanted to be able to have a forum where we can pass on some knowledge that's been gained over a decade and a half of doing this business, as well as specifically in the energy realm. So welcome to Power Hour, and glad you're here. So what are you in store for? So what Power Hour is built to be is a place to share knowledge, and I'm going to be the main host of it. But we will have special guest speakers come in and host from time to time. Our plan is to keep this window. We're always moving things around, trying to accommodate all sorts of different needs, but we're looking pretty solid for Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central, this time slot that we're in right now. And that should be set, and we should be able to keep this going. It's going to happen on a weekly basis. And the main idea here is training. I want to have our organization to be the most well-trained organization in all of the industry, not just in Think Energy. And when you have a group of people that understand what it is that they're here to do, they know how to do it, then there's nothing that holds them back. And that is a very powerful thing. So that's the purpose of why we have this. And it'll usually go for about an hour, might be a little less. Do not feel that you have to stay for the whole thing. I hope I'm giving you so much good content that you want me to go for an hour and a half. But my voice will probably give out at about the 55-minute mark. So you can expect it'll probably be about an hour each week. And we will record this, but one of the things that you'd miss out on is the ability to ask questions. So I will always have a section in when I'm presenting and I'm doing this training, there'll always be a spot in there for you to ask anything and everything about the industry, about energy, about getting customers, business partners, why is the sky blue, whatever you want to ask, we'll give our best to be able to answer it. So that's our purpose, and that's our goal for what we're having this for. As I'm going through this, feel free, if you have any questions, feel free to just jump in there. I'm not going to be able to see the screen all the time, so I might miss it if you raise your hand. Feel free to just unmute and say, Casey, I got a question. And then I'll either answer it, I'll say, hey, I'm going to get to that, and I'll weave that in. But everything is open, and then I'll take notes if there's anything extra and try to make sure I get to everybody's questions. So that'll kind of be our format and what we're here to do. So with that, let's go ahead and get started on what we're going to chat about for tonight. And so what I want to do is I want to talk about 4 things, and that's going to be around what is it that you desire. I'm going to talk about what rank helps you get to where your desires are. What are the requirements for that rank that gets you your desires? And then how do I go about getting to that rank through those requirements that gets me my desires? So I'm going to try and back into that whole thing and break it down for you so you're clear on what it is that we do. But what I will tell you, and you'll hear this said so many times, we do 2 simple things in this business. We gather a handful of loyal customers, people we know, love, and trust, and then we go find others that help us go gather some customers. That's what we do. When it all comes down to it, if those 2 things are not happening in your business, you are not making all the money that you could be making. And while this business is not just about money, it's about what it is that you desire. I'm pretty certain, I'll give it at least a 95% chance that what you desire can be helped by having more money rather than less. And so with that said, let's jump into this little presentation that I put together. And yes, before anybody asks, this presentation will be made available. I'll post this out to the Team Mesa channel, and then we'll have a recording of this also uploaded and sent out for anybody that wasn't able to attend. So if you missed out, don't worry, you're watching the recording now. That's for the people later, they'll get the joke. All right, so let me share my screen and let's see how this behaves. All right. All right, Mr. Staller, give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen being shared with agenda. Awesome. Okay, very good. I'm going to leave it in this view because it might get a little funky because I have a couple of monitors. So let me shrink this and we'll just do it from this view. Okay, excellent. So here's the 4 things we're going to dig into, as I was just mentioning. So let me go ahead and get into the next one here. So what is it that you desire? What are the things that you actually want? You know, it's an easy question to hear and then you go, yeah, get to the thing. This is the thing. What I've learned in 15 years of doing this business is if you're not clear on this slide, it does not matter what I'm going to show you. It doesn't matter how great of a presentation Mr. Staller does for you. It doesn't matter how long you talk to David Daniel or Rocky Bose or Brian Tindler, any of the people in our organization. None of it matters if you don't know what this is for you. What do you desire? if you have not spent some time sitting down and really thinking about this, do yourself a favor before your head hits the pillow tonight. Spend at least 5 minutes. And then don't just think about it. Start with thinking, but then write it down. Get it on a piece of paper, and hopefully it goes into several pages of what you desire. We get so messed up on forgetting how to dream. It's crazy. Life gets in the way. All kinds of things happen. But being able to know what your desires are, being able to dream again, being able to focus on what that is that you desire to have is paramount to everything. Do yourself justice in spending some time on figuring out what this is. And then when you do, don't shortchange it. Don't sell it short. Do not hedge on your dreams. Very important that you do not go in and go, well, maybe I want that, but that'd be too expensive, and start hedging and playing small. Play very big and figure out what it is that you desire. And then when you do, I want you to look at this silly little chart and like, where the hell did these numbers come from? I want you to look at how much is it going to cost for what it is that you desire. Again, I said it, not everything is tied to money, but I am going to tie it to money today. I want you to figure out, what does it cost to take that trip for the family? What does it cost for that house that you want? How much is that car for your kid? Figure out what it is for you. What is that vacation? What is just the renovation to the backyard deck? You know, whatever that is, what's the thing that got you to say, you know what, when I saw this presentation, I saw a vehicle that will allow me to get this. Well, how much does that cost? See which one it is on here. Is it $60 a year? Maybe. Is it 6.9 million a year? Maybe. Maybe that's big, maybe that's small to you. But that's a pretty good run at where these numbers are coming from. Let me push this because I really want this to work. Mr. Stout, another thumbs up if you can still see my presentation screen. Okay, good. So where did those numbers come from? Well, I took some liberties and did some math, and I played with the spreadsheet, which is Mr. Daniel's favorite thing to do, is play with spreadsheets. And it's also Mr. Stallard's favorite thing to do, I found out. But with that, I ran some numbers and I said, what if we simply did a very small formula? And I'll show you what that formula is here in a little bit. You probably already guessed what it is. But what if we just looked at the residual, which we get paid 8, 9, or 10 different ways, depending on how you look at the comp plan. This is just one of the ways that we get paid. This isn't the customer acquisition. This isn't anything other than, it isn't the overrides. This is just simply getting paid out on the residual side with the simple formula of going out and getting a couple customers and a couple business partners and them getting a couple customers. So when you hit these ranks, what could you expect to make? And this is a simulation. This isn't a tried and guaranteed. This is about what you would make with these numbers, running these numbers. So regional energy advisor is going to make about $528 a year just on making it to that level, just the requirements that it takes to get there. And then that being extrapolated over a year and nothing else happening. So it's not realistic. It's going to be much bigger than this, but this was a starting point. So look at that number that you came up with, and then look at the name or the rank of what you need to do. And then now let's look at what it takes to actually hit those ranks. And if you've been hiding in a cave, you might not have heard, but some pretty cool things just happened here recently, that a couple of those, specifically the regional and the senior energy advisor slots, the requirements for hitting that recently changed. And that's pretty cool. It is a whole lot easier now to be able to reach some of these ranks. So let's talk about, how do I do it? How do I go about, if those are requirements? Let me spend a second here. What does PC mean, Casey? 6 PCs. Well, let's start with the first one, regional energy advisor. 5 PCs, that's personal customers. Those are people that went to your website, the website that you created when you enrolled as an energy advisor. You got a website. For people that go to that website and become a customer, that's going to count as a personal customer. That's one personal customer. Another way that those customers show up is that the customers that you get, one of them will enroll into your site, and then that customer might want to go out and get free energy. Maybe they want to get a 10% off, and they go out and they get 3 customers. That means you got 4 personal customers, because that rolls up to you as a personal customer. And the 20 for TC, what does TC stand for? That's team customers. That means those are customers that you didn't get. They didn't go to your website and enroll. It's an energy advisor that came in underneath of you somewhere in your organization, and they got a customer. And that's where team customers come from. So if you look at this, it's like, okay, 5 and 20, that's doable. 6 and 200, that's a lot, but I can get my head there. 500, holy crap, 50,000. Are you out of your mind? How am I possibly going to find 50,000 customers? Well, you're probably not going to find 50,000 customers yourself, unless you're Rocky Bose and you live in Lubbock and they're getting ready to deregulate. He's going to try and break that record himself directly. That's cool. But most likely you're not going to go out and do that yourself. So how do you go about doing it? Well, that's what we're here to talk about. So how do you hit these ranks? Let's focus on this one first, Regional Energy Advisor. And let's focus in on that 5 personal customer and 20 team customer. That's what we're going to focus on tonight. Guess what that is? It's called a building block. Regional Energy Advisor is the building block of our entire organization and the entire comp plan. You can quote me on that. This is the most important rank in the entire organization. If you can do this, and you can show somebody how to do this, there is nothing that will stop you from getting all the way down to the bottom to that $6.9 million level. So let's talk about how do we do that? How do we get 5 personal and 20 team? Well, we're going to give you that wonderful little formula. And this formula, if I'm successful in my mission with Power Hour over the next couple of weeks and months and years, is that if I wake you up at 3 a.m. at some retreat that we're at, and I shake you awake, and you're like, oh God, what is it, Casey? I want you to recite, what's our formula? I want you to be able to say 535. 5 personal customers. 3 personally enrolled energy advisors. And show them how to get 5 personal customers each. Okay, well, that's just a formula, Casey. That's not the requirement. That's absolutely correct. This is one way of reaching Regional Energy Advisor. There are an infinite number, well, not infinite, but quite a few ways that you can hit this. You don't just have to use this formula, but this is a very powerful formula that I would like for you all to get behind, and all the leadership in the organization would love for you to get behind, because it makes so much simple sense. So let's break it down. What does 535 mean? Well, there's you. You join, you're an energy advisor. Good job. Way to go. And you'll notice that that is in green there. Now in blue, in a little small circle, what did you do? Well, you enrolled yourself because you live in a deregulated area and you became your own first customer. Maybe you don't live in a deregulated area, but you called somebody that did. You called your best friend, you called mama, you called Aunt Susie, you called grandma, and you called your next door neighbor. You've got 5 personal customers. Congratulations, check mark for the 5 of the 535. What's next? Well, you know a couple people that like making money. Do you have people that have desires? Do you have people that would like to have a little bit more money at the end of their month instead of the other way around? So you call up a few people, Al, Bob, and Cam, A, B, and C. You probably caught on to that. Now, what are we going to do with them? Are we going to explain this whole thing to them? Nah, we're going to put them on a presentation, or we're going to show them a video. And in 11 minutes, they're going to get done looking at a video that goes, this makes way too much sense, because all y'all do is gather a handful of loyal customers, people you know, love, and trust, and show a couple people how to do the same thing. I can do that. I know 5 people that use electricity. Hell, I know a whole lot more than that, but I'll start with those. I know at least 3 people that want to make some money. They jump in, they see it. Al's in, Bob's in, Cam's in. What do they do once they're in? Well, first, that's the 3 of the 535. 2 check marks already in our little formula on how do you get to Regional Energy Advisor. Now, what's the next thing we need to do? Does Al know anybody that uses electricity? Yep. Does Bob? Sure does. Does Cam? Sure does. Now, what's interesting about this is if you add that all up in blue, you got 5, Al got 5, Bob got 5, Cam got 5. What have you achieved? You achieve 535. That's 5 personal customers and 20 team customers. What does that mean? You're a Regional Energy Advisor. Does everybody see the simplicity of what we just did there? Is that hard to do? Is anybody confused on the formula or what it is we're trying to achieve? And I mean that seriously. If anybody's confused, please ask the question, because if you've got the question, chances are somebody else has that question. They just were a little scared of asking. I want this to be interactive. If you have any questions on this right here, please stop me and please ask me. All right, I'm seeing cake, formula is simple, cakewalk, cool, good. Now, I'm going to leave this up here for a second, and I want to chat about this for a little bit here because this is so critical to you unlocking everything it is that you want in life. Truly. Because maybe not everything, but a whole bunch of things you're going to be able to solve with some extra commas in your bank account. Checks coming in with commas solves so many problems, I promise you. Man, an extra $500 will solve a lot of problems per month. All right. So you made it to Regional Energy Advisor. Now what? Well, we look back on this screen. All right, it's about $528. Again, just this doesn't count all of, check it out. Let me go back one more screen here. I'm gonna freelance here for a little bit. Each one of these customers, how many dollars did you get when you each got a customer? 20 bucks? That's $100 right there that you just made. And then when Al goes and gets a customer, how much money do you make on just the customer acquisition bonus of personally sponsored energy advisors gathering a customer? $10. So there's $50, there's $50, there's $50, plus the 50 that you've got. No, the 100 that you got, was that $250? And then when you make Regional Energy Advisor, what do they send you? If you recall the presentation that Mr. Salge just gave here a second ago, that's $100 for just hitting that. So what are we up to? $350 for doing this very simple cakewalk of a formula that y'all said, no problem, I can do that. That's $350. How much does it cost to get started again? About $129. Let's see here. I'm not a math genius, but I'm going to say that's more than it costs you to get started. So what does that mean? You're over 100% return on your investment. How long does it take to do this? It's up to you. How fast do you want to go make that? How fast do you want to build that first building block? Here's what I'll tell you. If you're just getting started, or maybe you've been in for a little bit, today is day 0. Tomorrow is day 1. Tomorrow on day 1, if you haven't done this yet, you need to set a personal mission to go accomplish this. You decide the time. I will never tell you how long it should take you to do something. That's up to you. This is your business. I'm here to consult with you. I'm here to train you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to do everything but actually do it for you. And sometimes I'll even do that. But you've got to decide on how fast this, how long this should take you. How fast do you want to get to this point? And here's the deal. When you tell your story from stage, do you want to tell the story that it took you 6 months once you understood it to finally get to this rank? Or would you rather tell them it took you 6 days? How about 6 hours? That's massive effort. That's massive momentum. There is nothing difficult about this. This is extremely simple. Now your brain might get in the way and make it where it seems a little bit more complicated. Might tell you it's not easy, but it's damn sure simple. This screen right here shows that. So there's a lot of money that's to be made right there. Again, what I got on that little tangent there was I was talking about $528 in a year. That's, again, just the residual of those dollars. There's overrides, there's cab bonuses, there's rank bonuses, there's everything in there that goes on top of that. So like I said, this is just looking at it from that perspective of the monthly payout. All right, well, 1,500 is better than 500, Casey. So what do I got to do to make it to senior? Well, notice on there what you personally need to do. You need to get one more customer. So call your cousin if you haven't called them and get a copy of their electricity bill. I didn't even say light bill yet. How about that, huh? Electricity bill. Get that electricity bill from them and show them that you're going to save them some money. Now you're up to 6 personal customers, but you need 200. Man, that's a lot. That's a whole lot more than 20. How do I go about doing that? Well, I'm glad you asked. So how do we do and how do we apply this formula to be able to hit 6 and 200? Well, guess what? I'm going to shake you up at 3 in the morning. What are you going to tell me back in return? 535. Just do this 12 times. What? How do I do that? I'll show you. So remember Al, Bob, and Cam? And remember how they went out and got their 5 customers already? Well, notice that your number went up by 1. You're up to a 6 now. But Al, Bob, and Cam, what should we do? We should show them how to hit Regional Energy Advisor just like we have done. So we made it. Then we added 1 more customer. We did not add another business partner, and we did not add any more customers to Al, Bob, or Cam. We got 1 more customer, and we showed these people how to do something. What did we show them how to do? The same thing that we did. Because what do? We gather a handful of loyal customers, the 6 here, people we know, love, and trust. And then we show others, Al, Bob, and Cam, how to do the same thing. And what are they going to do? They're going to get 5 customers because that's what we did. And then after that, they're going to go find 3 business partners. And when they do, they're going to show each of them how to get 5 customers. And if they do that, guess what? They just did 535. What does that mean to them? That means Al just made $100 just for hitting that promotion. Plus, they made $100 on their personal customers. Plus, they made 50, another 50, and another 50 when D, Ed, and Fred went out and got their 5 customers just on the cab bonuses. Well, that's pretty cool. What is Bob going to do? Bob's going to call Gina, Hank, and Iris and going to do the exact same thing. Do they know 5 people? Yeah, they do. Do they know 3 people that want to make money? Yeah, they do. Bob's Regional Energy Advisor. Congratulations to Bob. What's Cam going to do? Same thing, except he's going to talk to Joe, Ken, and Lance. They're going to see this and go, I can do this. Let me start by getting my own customers. And when they do, guess what? Cam made Regional Energy Advisor. That's cool. So how many Regional Energy Advisors do we have so far? 3. Now, do we need to go out and get 12 more people that we personally sponsor for this theory to work out? No. In this theory, guess what we're going to do? We're going to show D how to do the same thing. Or we're going to teach Al how to teach D to do the same thing. Maybe Al's not a real good teacher. Maybe we step in and do that. Maybe I step in and do that. Maybe Mr. Daniel does that. Maybe Mr. Salge does that. Maybe any of the leaders on this call does that. That's what we do as leaders, is we step in and explain this very simple formula to them. What's D going to do? D's going to go out and get 3 business partners, 3 energy advisors, and show each of them how to get 5 customers. And when they do, D got their 5 customers. D found 3 business partners, and each one of them got 5 customers. What does that make D? D's a regional energy advisor. What's Ed going to do? Same thing. Did you get any new business partners that you personally enrolled here? Did you get any new customers that you personally enrolled here? You got 1 extra customer in this scenario. What's Fred going to do? Same thing. What's Gina going to do? Same thing. What's Hank going to do? Same thing. You can kind of see where this is going, can't you? Now, what's interesting when you do that is if you add up all those blue items right here, guess what? Add all those, add all of those, add all of those, plus yours, that's 201 customers. What does that mean? Congratulations, you did it. You're a senior energy advisor. How'd you get there? You showed 12 people how to do what you did. Did you enroll any more? No. Now, here's what's really cool. Can you enroll more? Yes. Yes, you can. How many can you enroll? As many as you know. Do you know anybody that wants to make more money? Do you know anybody that would like to go on some extra trips, go out to eat a couple more times, pay their bills on time, not get late notices, be able to afford groceries? The whole spectrum is out there. Does that mean everybody's going to do it? No. Why? Because we don't know is the first answer. That's Jim Rohn. And I'll give you an idea of what we do know is some people just want to complain. They don't want to actually fix it. That's not your problem. Your job is to go out there and propose to them and say, would you like to make some extra money? And they go, goodness gracious, I was praying about you last night. Thank you for showing up in my life. The ones that go, no, what are you doing? Is this some scam thing? Bye-bye. You keep being poor and not doing what you need to do. Don't let those people derail you from what it is that you're doing here. And what you're doing here is you're helping, because when you look at all of this and all of these wonderful little dots and pretty animations that I've done on here, what does every single one of these numbers represent? Those 5 people underneath Al here that are customers are 5 people that you found and put money back in their pocket. I used this example at lunch today with Sharon and Bob. I said, Sharon, if you're walking out of Saltgrass here and you look ahead and you see somebody walking to their car and they're messing with their wallet and 3 $100 bills fall out of their wallet onto the ground right there and they jump into the car, would you feel weird running over there and grabbing that money and knocking on their door and saying, excuse me, you dropped this? Do you think they're going to be, oh my God, why are you contacting me? No, they're going to be like, thank God you're here. Oh my God, you just picked up $300 off the ground and gave it back to me. Mr. Brian Pinso literally just saved a lady in Ohio $301 off of her electricity bill in 1 month. Imagine being able to do that. Not just, I mean, they'll remember that story for the rest of their life. If you picked up 3 $100 bills in the parking lot and handed it to them. Imagine being able to do that every single month for every one of these people in here that have a number. Maybe it's not $300. Maybe it's a $20 bill. Maybe it's a $10 bill. Do you think anybody is going to be upset about that? They're going to be over the moon about that. It's just a matter of reframing what it is that we're doing here. We're not trying to sell people on something. They're already getting electricity, promise you. We're just going to show them how to do it for cheaper. And sometimes, newsflash, we can't do it right then. But that is such a minority amount of the time. And that's okay. They might be locked in some contract. We explained the new ETF buster, and you're still going to have people, even though you can save them money, they're going to say, it's not worth it to me. What? That's okay. That's their choice. Sir, here's your $300. I want to hit. Nope, it's not mine. I don't want it. But sir, don't want it. Let them drive off, man. You can't fix that. But don't let that break you down where you're not going to go out, because I promise you, somebody's on their knees tonight going, how in God's name am I going to pay for this light bill this month?
I see.
All right. Let's check the chat here and see if there's any questions. 2 commas and 1 check is the goal. That is absolutely right, Mr. Stan. All right, so continuing on with this, your senior energy advisor. Let's go back and look at this thing. So let's look again, yearly, and somebody keeps going unmute. So mute that one more time. Okay. So on this list here for the amount of money, what is your desire? What does that number come in for on the yearly side?
One thing, we're having a fucking.
Okay. Sorry about that. All right, just some feedback on the line there. So let's look at this list here. So what is the yearly amount that you want? What is the rank? You see the requirements for hitting that. What's this other number over here? What's these RE? These are regional energy advisors. This is how many you need in your team. If you got 12 regional energy advisors, you make it to senior. And these are our approximations because it's going to be built differently and how it's going to be all structured in there. But for the most part, I'm very solid on these numbers. You go get 3,000 folks in your organization to make that building block, you've made it to the top level in the company. Just that this doesn't even take into consideration the partner sharing or any of that, any of the overrides, any of that. This number is going to be much smaller than what you would actually be making at senior partner. But again, same assumptions at the beginning, just on the monthly payout. Folks, can you do this? Can others do this? Is it simple? Do you believe you can do it? That's up to you. Because that will determine if you do this or not. Like I said up front, I can show you this all day long. I can break this, reframe it, do it 1,000 different ways, but you got to believe it. You got to see it and you got to believe it. And then you actually have to go do it. There is no limit on the number of legs that you have. I showed this with an example with just 3 legs. You can do this without any legs. You can go out and get 20 customers for yourself and get free energy if you're in a deregulated area. Imagine that. You go out, you talk to 20 people. Heck, Mr. Brian Pinso's almost there. You can go talk to 20 people, get their electricity bills, save them some money. And you personally getting those 20 customers satisfies the same as if it were team customers, because team customers counts all of them, your personal plus all of them. You just have to have at least 5 that you personally got, but you could get all 20. If you do that, that's awesome. Welcome. You made it to regional energy advisor. Can you get the next person that comes into this business to do the same thing? Yeah. But wouldn't it be so much easier to go out and get a couple of energy advisors and let them all get a couple to start with? But imagine what happens when everybody goes out, and looking at those numbers of what I just showed, what happens if everybody went out and got 10 customers? Not only are they getting 40% off, they also just doubled their organization. What if you teach that to everybody? This simple 5-3-5 is just a building block. You can change it and look at it all the different ways that you want to. But 5-3-5 is extremely simple. It catches on very quickly. People see that. It's repeatable. And the numbers on here don't lie. Go show some others how to do this. In the example where you made senior, you didn't add anybody new. What if you did go off and add some more? What if you added some more energy advisors? What if you got crazy and did 5-6-5? We're going to teach 5-3-5, but don't let that be your limit. Let that be your minimum. Let that be where you start. How much do you earn off of a personal customer versus a team customer? Very good question. If you personally enroll a customer, you're going to get $20 for that retail energy customer. If your team underneath of you, you personally enroll them, let me give an example. Back to this one. You enroll Al, and Al gets a customer. You're going to make $10 on those customers. Let me go back again. Let's look at this example here where Al gets D. When D gets a personal customer, that's your team customer. You're going to get $5 on these customers. So again, if you personally get them, $20 for personal. If your first level of energy advisors gets a customer, it's $10. If your second level of energy advisors get a customer, it's $5. Hopefully that answered your question, Carrie. Any questions on this building block? Did you connect the dots? Did you see what you need to do to grow beyond this, to grow beyond just getting started and how to get in here? If not, if you didn't connect the dots, please raise your hand or please unmute yourself and ask away. And if I don't hear anything, then I expect everybody's going to go out and do this in rapid fashion.
Hey, and Mr. Salge, I just want to add one thing, because I know there's a couple people on here from New Jersey, Maryland, upstate New York, and Maine with the community solar markets. And I know a lot of people on here, maybe you're not even from there, but you've got connections and networks in those markets. Y'all, this is just the numbers in the payouts on the energy side, which is, $20 versus $60 to over $120. You know what I mean? So you can literally multiply these numbers by up to 6 or even more to see what those payouts would be for the community solar side as well. And the other thing that I want to throw out is Lubbock, Texas, as you guys know, is deregulating literally like now. And we're about to be able to start pre-enrolling those markets. And that is going to be such a foot in the door and just so ridiculously powerful in Lubbock, Texas, with all these numbers. So when you look at these numbers, which Casey, fantastic freaking job, because you just got me 10 times more fired up than I've already been. And I've been so fired up about this, dude. And now looking at this, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, dude, this is insane. Like, it's absolutely insane, the potential here. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Stallard, and great points as well, and appreciate the kudos. Yeah, I love these types of simulations just to get your brain going. One other thing I want to talk about on this is when you see this and it starts getting complicated, I want you to break it down on what's actually happening here. What did you go back at the very top? What did you do in this scenario? You got 6 personal customers. You found Al, Bob, and Cam. That's all you did. Then you got everybody plugged. You got Al plugged in, Bob plugged in, and Cam plugged in into this type of training. Now, you don't have to be the one that's trying to learn all this and explain all this to them. You don't have to do that. That's not your job. That's what we do. That's why we take on this role, is that we've been here, done that. Before I learned all this stuff, guess what? I was the one listening in on countless calls, going to all the trainings, going to all the events, learning everything I could possibly. I was the guy that asked a million questions because I was hungry and I was extremely coachable. If you're those two things, there's nothing that will stop you on this, because if you're hungry, you'll take action. Rejection will not come in. You'll frame this and understand that when you're doing this business, every single person on here is being helped. Yes, you're going to benefit from it, but I promise you, Think Energy is not going to send you a dime until you help somebody else. So if you ever look at this and go, oh, I'm getting ready to take something from somebody, or I'm going to be stealing from them, or no, you're literally going to chase them down in the parking lot, give them money to put back in their wallet. You're going to help those people for something they're already using. And as a result of that, you are going to benefit as well. It is a win-win. All right, let's see what we got here in the chat. On average, how many potential customers have you been speaking to until you land a customer? Really good question. And I like ratios so that I can check to see, am I an outlier? There is no hard and fast rule on this, but what I would say is when you first start, a number to shoot for that I think is realistic and probably somewhat conservative that I've seen, and everybody has, this is just Casey's personal opinion. If you talk to 10 different people and you approach them correctly on the customer side, you're not going in there and just demanding their electricity bill. You actually have a conversation with people. You're not just trying to sell them. You're actually being a connected friend to them, but you are there and you have a purpose in mind and you execute all of that well. I'm going to say you're probably looking at 10 people that you talk to. You're probably going to get 7 electricity bills. And out of that, you're probably going to get 5 or 6 customers is what I would say. Now, I would say that is a very conservative amount. Now, somebody's, a lot of people immediately, well, people are in contracts that I've been talking to. That game's over. You don't have to worry about that anymore with the ETF. I was actually, again, at lunch, we were talking about that and some people that were stuck and just couldn't get their head wrapped around it. You go back to them and tell them they're going to be a customer now. So those would be the numbers that I would suggest that you're probably going to be pulling in. Next customer, with the deregulation of Lubbock, if we enroll a customer ahead of January 1, because we can lock in rates for 45 days, can they begin referring other customers as part of the free energy club prior to Jan 1? And the discounts will hit on or after. Do they have to wait until Jan 1? The question does make sense. I don't have that level of detail just yet. I don't think that they have officially given that out. Mr. Stout, you might have heard different. Mr. Daniel, you might have as well. So if y'all have and you're on, please feel free to speak up, but I don't know the details on that just yet. And I don't know if it'll be exactly Jan 1. I don't know if they have a release date because there's a lot of moving parts that go to this.
Yeah, and I'll just speak on that for a second. We don't have all of the answers to any of this. However, we should have some answers very, very, very soon. And I'm going to be sitting down having meetings with the corporate team, this weekend at the regional event. So we should have a lot of answers come next week. So I'll make sure to get those for you, because trust me, I'm all over it too. So yeah. Great question though.
Yeah, very good question. Good answer too. Thank you, Mr. Stallard, on that. One of the things I will say, regardless of that answer, do not wait. Do not wait till you have the entirety of all the answers before you start talking to people. Let them know. If they live in Lubbock, they probably have heard this, unless they've been in a cave somewhere or under a rock. But deregulation's happening, and you start building that and say, look, you know me, we've known each other. I am going to hook you up. This isn't just a Think Energy thing. It is a deregulation thing that's happening. So this is a big momentous event, but it's not Think Energy only that's calling the shots here, right? It's ERCOT, the Electricity Reliability Council of Texas, is the one that's going to make all those calls, and then they can make changes at a drop of a hat. And if they do, then everybody's going to go with it. So always build that relationship with them and let them know it's coming. But definitely let them know that they'll be able to get the free energy after the fact. I just don't know how early they can work towards that. Next question: what advice would you suggest if we get an advisor and they become inactive? Whenever that happens, I remember this one from the Mr. $70 Million Man. My mentor was Brian McClure in Ambit. So he was the top energy earner in the history of network marketing. And I love Brian, but we were going to make what he did look very, very small in comparison with Think Energy. But he had great knowledge and advice. And this one always sat with me. He said, it's always easier to give birth than to raise the dead. So they might, now, if they're not completely dead, they might be on life support. Then what you need to do is you need to go in there and you need to give them CPR. And you give them CPR by going back to slide 1 in this presentation, which is, what is it that you desire? Somebody becomes inactive in this thing because they forgot what it is that they desire, or they misunderstand how this will help them get it. And so I start with the very basic beginning, and that is, do you know why you started this business? Recite it to me. So you're telling me that you have given up on those dreams because somebody said boo and they're in a contract and they didn't want to switch. Is that what you're telling me? Sometimes people need a little pep talk like that. They need the conversation reframed. Do that as part of being a leader in your organization. But ultimately, we are all independent contractors for this organization. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. But this is your business and it's their business. And if they become inactive, they become inactive. And it's not going to hurt you, not going to be anything. Just go bring another person to the fold. Never take that personal. I've seen a lot of people give up on their own dreams because somebody in their organization gave up on their dreams. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So you need to make sure you focus on yours, and you need to make sure they focus on theirs. But that would be my answer to that question. How do we handle customers who are on payment plans with their utility? So payment plans can fall into 2 categories. One would be that they are on a billing cycle where they have, I'm trying to think of this official term, but they basically spread out so that they have equal payments throughout the year.
Average billing.
Thank you. Average billing. So if they're average billing, then let's say what that means is in the summer months when their bill was actually $500, they're going to pay $400. And then in the winter, when their bill should have been $300, they're going to pay $400. So they have more usage. It just averages out over the year. So think of it like an escrow account. Depending on when they're coming out of their plan, if they owe $400 just because they happen to be in the summer months when they left, then they're going to have to pay that before they can leave that utility. Another item for payment plans would be that somebody has fallen behind on their energy and they literally have something at the utility that says it's a do not switch. They will not let somebody leave that company to go to another company if that company is owed money. And so they'll literally put that in place so that if you want electricity, you need to pay off what you've used. And it's the right thing to do. Sometimes people have some situations that are hard, but that wasn't the utility's necessarily fault. But they would have to pay that before they'd be able to switch over. On the flip side of the first example, let's say they had $400 coming to them, they can absolutely leave, and then they should have that check sent to them from the previous energy provider. All right, great training, learning, thank you. So if a customer candidate in Massachusetts is locked into a contract with a different company, they have a cancellation fee, are we able to refund the fee? No, it's available in Texas with the main supply company. We do offer an early termination fee buster plan in Texas. I do not believe we offer that in any other markets. currently. I don't know if that will be expanded into others. I'm not 100% on that. What if our customer moves to a location we do not service and are under contract with us? Can they get out of it without paying? Absolutely. So the way that the early termination fee applies is that if you live at if you're at a residence and you have electricity provider company A, and then you want to change to electricity provider B, you're with somebody else and you're going to come to Think Energy, and you're in a contract, then that's going to trigger an early termination. You're leaving before your contract was up, and not necessarily leaving, but you're leaving us as a provider and you're going to somebody else. Now, if you are leaving that residence and you're going to another location outside of that, you are not assessed. Guy, if you can hear me, if you can mute your phone, Guy. Can you mute? Got a lot of background. There we go. Let's see if that'll hold this time. Okay, so finishing that thread, if you live at a location and you move to a location that we do not service, then the early termination fee is not going to be applied to that person. That goes for us or anybody else. All right, I think it made it through the questions that are on there. All right, so I'm going to go to this last slide here so that y'all can jot some info down and see. But feel free to write down my email address and specifically my phone number. Email, you're going to get a slow response from me if ever. But text, I will definitely get to you. And on Messenger, that's another good way to get in touch with me. But if you've got any questions about this, if you need any assistance in this organization on anything, by all means, reach out to the person that sponsored you. And if they don't have an answer or you just want to come straight to me, by all means, give me a call, reach out to me. You can call me 24/7. I have my ringer off. You're never going to bother me if I'm in the middle of something. So feel free to call or text me at any time. Never a bother, and always happy to be able to help. Let's see, another question popped in here. Amazing, it makes things much more doable. Good. Let's move that recording second. Here is a great question. The distillation of it is, what do I say to get the conversation started? So from a customer perspective, I'm a big fan of reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, I got a quick question for you. Do you use electricity? It's the dumbest thing to start with, but it just breaks the ice. It gets them to pay attention to you. It's like, wait, what? What did you just say? I said, do you happen to use electricity? Oh, yeah. Hey, cool. Do you like paying more or less for it? I like paying less. What are you getting at? Well, hey, here's the deal. I actually partnered with some people that are with a company that is helping people save a lot of money. I'm saving people anywhere from $50 to $150 on their electricity bills. All I'm asking for is an opportunity to do a quick audit on your electricity bill to see, can I save you some money? Would you be okay? Would it be okay if you were to send me a copy of your electricity bill? Can you do that? They say, oh, well, and then the objections could potentially start, or they say yes. If they say yes, say great, thanks. Can you just text that over to me or send me an email? I just need a copy of it. Just take a screenshot, send me the PDF, and then I'll run those numbers. It's all you got to do. There's nothing more that needs to be done on that. You're getting a copy of the electricity bill, and then you reach out to your upline organization, your senior partners, or myself, anybody in between. Happy to show you how to actually go through, run that bill, what to look at, and what to tell them. But if you'll just focus on simply getting like an Easter egg, go get the electricity bill. That's the simplest that I can make it. There's other things that we can do, and you'll learn things along the way. But to get started, because you're going to be fired up after this training, and you're ready to get out there, and I'm going to knock out the 5 of the 535. I'm going to knock that out before this weekend. Go get 10 electricity bills. Think of it like Easter Sunday when the kids are running around in the backyard trying to find Easter eggs. That's something that you do. Recreate that. Your job is to run out as fast as you can and think of those electricity bills as Easter eggs. Go put them in your little basket, bring them back, and then we'll open them up. We'll crack them open and see what's in the middle of them and see if we're going to be able to save them some money or not. and we'll work with you on that. Don't feel that you got to do that. That takes out the weird, because people will take action if they're not confused. If they don't know what to do next, they're going to be confused. So the fastest thing I can tell you is don't do this alone. Go get those electricity bills, bring them back, and let us help you with that. If you can't find anybody to help you, then take that phone number that's being shared on your screen right now, put that in your phone right now, put Casey's next to that, and you text me a copy of the electricity bill and say, hey, can you help me with this? And here's how it's going to work. I'm going to teach you to fish. Okay. I'll help you with the first one, but I'm going to teach you how to do it so that you know that skill. And I'm not going to leave you out there until you understand it fully. And then after that, you're just going to repeat that a couple times. And then after that, you're going to show somebody else how to do the same thing. And it's going to duplicate like crazy. You're going to become a regional energy advisor. And sky's the limit after that. I love it. So the next question in here is to the question, what do you desire? There's a lot of us that have desire, some more grand than others. How can we get them to be realistic on what they desire? So actions, consistency follows. Here's what I will say about desires. There is no such thing as saying it's realistic. If you can think it, you can achieve it. And I truly believe that. Everything starts with a thought. You don't know how. Stop worrying about the damn how. That happens to everybody. Focus on what it is that you desire. Write that down and don't let anybody steal that from you. And then figure out how to do a couple of simple things. Do it over and again. And that's what this whole training was about, is to focus on our EA, Regional Energy Advisor, 535. I promise you, the grander the vision, hopefully $6.9 million a year will take care of that vision. If it will, then get yourself to senior partner, show 3,000 people, not directly, but through your planting of seeds, how to hit regional energy advisor. And it's in the bag. So there's no such thing as a realistic desire. It's just a desire. Awesome. I'm glad everybody is fired up with this. Excellent. All right. Well, we made it to 3 minutes before the hour, 2 minutes before the hour. So now is a good time for us to call it a night. It amazes me by how fast this goes and how quickly we get here. So we're going to sign off. And what I always like to do is have everybody unmute themselves and say good night. So with that, thank you all for coming tonight. And go ahead and hit the unmute button. Say good night to everyone, and we'll see you at the next one. Thank you all for
Good night, Mr. Salge. Thank you so much for an amazing
Thank you
training.
so
everyone.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Casey.
you
for a great
Five, y'all, come on.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Hi,
You
Casey.
guys, y'all have a good night,
Everybody.
everyone.
Feature basis.